Three, two, one. What it do, baby? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to our podcast. Podcast that's all about sports lives, and different news that happen to us daily. Truly, your host, Tim V. Welcome back. How's your week? How's everything for the past weekend? Everything's all right. All right. Thanks for asking me. I appreciate it. My week has been delightful. Weekend has been crazy. Um, let's just jump into it. Let's just start with the fact that holy crap, what exactly happened to the NFL playoffs? Wild card has been pretty um it's not just inconsistent. It was something that's like Con- confused. I think the perfect word to describe it would be confused because first of all, I'm trying to understand. All right, first of all, who who in their right minds thought the Dolphins are going to beat the Patriots, right? Who thought that the Patriots are going to be like, "You know what? We're not going to get ourselves a week off. We're going to work extra hard. Do your job, you know?" Bro, first of all, first of all, the Dolphins. Though, like, what is it? Did they have like two wins or something like that? The Dolphins did not do that great of a job. However, however, I think that they did the job. They eliminated the Patriots from having a week off, and then the Patriots had to face they have to face the Titans, which honestly, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. I have notes that I'd like to follow. That's right. Your boy is prepared. Your boy's prepared. But no, seriously. I really appreciate the fact that you guys are listening, paying attention, following. I know there's not a lot of people listening, but here we are. It's Joe Rogan this up. So all the games that I watched, different games that I knew that I was able to, because I live in Europe, and therefore all of the games are like in the evening, which is great because Sunday evening you can hang out with your boys and all of that. And then some games that they end at 1:30 in the morning, and I am not about that life. So some games that I watch, others I watch highlights and different predictions of what people are, and how the teams did and all of that. And so especially, I really like watching Undisputed. That's something that personally, I'm looking forward to being more like is Undisputed, but it takes two people. It takes two to tango. Okay. Yeah, no, because it's really interesting to see their perception, their view on the game, but at the same time, it's just opinions. They're basing it off of statistics, and this is an argument between two individuals, right? I really like Undisputed, sorry. um, ESPN has been really nice. You know what I don't like? I don't like Sports Center. I don't know why. That is untrue. I do know exactly why. Sports Center sometimes gives you the highlights that you do not need, and it sounds like something like, "Oh, I didn't know I needed it, but now I do." No, Sports Center is like, "You don't need it, but we'll give it to you." It's okay. That statistics as in like, let's say hypothetically, right? Which I'm pretty sure it happened, but it would be like giving awards to something that only one person is able to do. For instance, um, uh, okay, LeBron James scoring a three-pointer in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter of the I don't know of the finals. Let's give it that, right? LeBron James scoring a three-pointer on the last 2 minutes of a finals game, right? The last game 7, and they would be like, "Oh my gosh, it has never done by anybody before." I mean, first of all, bull crap. Second of all, I don't need to know this. This is such unnecessary information. So anyway, sorry, I went on a little tangent. I just don't like Sports Center. But yeah, all of the games that I watch and different styles that we got to witness, from both, from all the way from the west to the east. We're talking about from all throughout the season, it was just so interesting to watch how like the Raiders, the Chargers, we have Colts playing, which Colts did. I think the Colts did much better than I anticipated. First of all, second of all, I they did much better than last season. Right? It was a very upsetting moment where Andrew Luck left, but it provided for more, like for new blood, for more opportunities, for new people to play, for different plays to be executed, especially. And that, call me wrong, but there was something about each team that won that reminded me of Bill Belichick. um I think that before, when it was between 2014 and 18, I thought that Bill Belichick is above everybody else. And I still do believe. I still do believe that Bill Belichick is somebody. He's a phenomenal coach. He's a phenomenal. What's the word that you describe a person when they know what's gonna happen before it happens? Like they look forward to it, I guess, or like they understand this something might happen, and so they're preparing for that, right? So I think that's what the embodiment of Bill Belichick is. He doesn't know if it's gonna happen 100%, but he's ready for it. And I've been watching, um, what is it? Do Your Job on their social media or something like that. But it's a TV show that describes different platforms, different areas, different departments of their organization, from offensive, defensive linemen, their coaches, to like cafeteria, what they're eating, equipment staff, and all that. It was very interesting. Equipment staff probably was my favorite, but the fact that they all expect the worst and they come the best. Like they expect all of the outcomes, but they still succeed. So I thought that, okay, if Bill Belichick, if he's ready for all of those, like unpredictable moments, and case in point, Falcons versus the Patriots, I think that moment, because like for instance, the 2-point convergence that they had in order to catch up to the Falcons, I think that that's something that they were preparing for the worst, right? They executed and they prepared the 2-point conversion. A couple of them actually. You can look it up on YouTube.com. And I think that Bill Belichick has been very smart, very careful. However, these past 2 seasons, I think that there's more Bill Belichick's on the sidelines than just one. There's more Bill Belichick's kind of people, like the way he thinks. There's more coaches like that, um, on different teams. And case in point is Titans. I'm impressed because um I was reading on it was a Bleach report. They were talking about how their head coach executed the same strategy as Bill Belichick during the season or last year. I can't remember, but it was them kind of like not copying Bill, but it was more of them trying to understand. Okay, this is something that he's done. Can we do it, but do it better, or do it our own way? And I feel like that's something that's very important, not just in sports, but in anything that you do. Is like, if you like something, don't copy it completely, but know who you are and adjust it to the way you need to be adjusted, like based off of you. And I think that's what Titans did with, especially with Henry, him running. He really reminded me of the new he's like the younger version of Marshall Lynch. So, but anyway, that's something that's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, so I watched all of the games. I watched 2 games and 2 games of highlights. So I wasn't able to stay up on Saturday night because your boy's Christian. That's right, was good. Come at me, bro. But I watched the Vikings and Saints game. And let me tell you, I was looking forward to it's incredible how they're meeting again in the playoffs since what happened last year, where Stefan Diggs caught that pass and he ran. It was the Saints defense. I can't remember. It was the Saints safety that failed to block Stefan Diggs, and so he caught the ball in the air, like it can, I guess, turned around against the safety, around the safety, and then ran for a touchdown, and that's what helped the Vikings win. But then they lost. Anyway, And so I was like, it can't happen again. Like, I really want the Saints to win just because of Drew Brees. And I think that a lot of people are not giving Drew Brees the respect he deserves, because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Lamar Jackson, he deserves the MVP. I get that. Like, Lamar Jackson has definitely something to prove, but we're talking about like one of the biggest people, one of the like biggest quarterbacks uh today, honestly. We're not talking about Russell Wilson being, what is he, like 5'10" or something like that, same height as me, 5'10", 5'11", something like that. And all of a sudden he's doing, people don't pay attention because he's great and everybody expects him to be greater. And I think that's what happened with Drew Brees, is everybody was expecting him to do better than he did. Everybody expected him to be greater, but he was just great. And we're talking about like a fraction of decisions. But that game, Vikings versus the Saints, I think it was all about the play calling. I, they caught so many passes that was not, like, it didn't count as passes or as catches. But hey, listen, you win some, you lose some. And that particular time, it wasn't something that it was in their favor. But here's the thing: both teams fought well. I've really enjoyed watching that game from the beginning till the end. Even the stupid commercials that were in between. Oh my gosh! The only commercials that I watch is on Super Bowl because they are intentionally trying to make them ridiculous. But now it's like, oh my gosh, Triple A. There was like there was like 15 minutes of AAA commercials, and I don't know. Sure, go ahead, play. You'll pay the money, but it was so annoying. But anyway, so I think that it was all about no lucky catches, but smart playing call. Like, it wasn't something that like Vikings did that are like, oh my gosh, I did not expect that from the Vikings. I think it was just a smart play calling. Cousins, he proved himself. He had a terrible beginning of the season. I mean, we're talking about somebody who's like, everybody's like, all right, he's done, and that $80 million for 4-year contract. Um, I was like, you better do something really good um for Minnesota. Otherwise, they'll trash you. I mean, it's a nice place. It's a nice place. But anyway, I really liked it. I would definitely. My money was in the Saints because I really wanted them to win, and I saw the potential that maybe this is gonna be the year that they're gonna overcome their struggles, right, and be great or be better than themselves during the season. But congrats to the Vikings. The next one, that something that really, it wasn't upsetting. It was more of like, I'm confused to what happened. All second half, the third quarter really bugged me because I'm like, where were you? Where were you, Deshaun Watson? Where were you? He is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I don't know why. It started last year, um, when I started watching him, and I'm like, man, he's so smart. Like, watching his interviews, it was just like the way he perceives the defense, the way they're covering. He's like, he can make the play calling right on the spot. Like, he can change it. He'll know who to throw. He sees the situation before it happens. He sees what might happen before it actually happens. And I think that's what you want in a quarterback, is to know who to pass to, right? You want to know something. Quarterback needs to be a strong hand, agility, get how to work in the pocket, get out of the pocket, how to run. Basically, I'm describing Lamar Jackson right now. But here's the thing: Deshaun Watson is somebody that, instead of running and taking things under in your control, I think that he knew who to pass to, and that's something that stood out in the second half versus the Texans. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I don't know. Bills did a great. I both teams did so well. Bills, what the crap, man? What the crap? Also, I'm a Cowboys fan for the next season. I really want to see how things are gonna play out with Jason Garrett. And the time of the recording, he's gonna be gone. On his contract expires January 14th. And so they're interviewing the former coach for the Carolina Panthers, which I'm happy about, because man, they brought them to the Super Bowl. And he did so much for the team, and he's a great leader. And you know what I'm looking forward in the quarterback? I'm looking for Troy Aikman. I'm s- I'm not stuck in the past, right? I am looking forward to somebody who's a Troy Aikman. When you look at his highlights, when you look at the way he played, he's not just asking more of himself. He's not just asking more of himself or more from the teammates. He's begging the coaches to be better. And coaches are like, "What the crap? Who are you to tell us how to feel or what to do, what kind of calls to play, what kind of calls to make?" But the guy's like, "I don't care. I'm here for the Super Bowl. I'm here to win. Do whatever you want. Like, I don't care." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, sometimes that's exactly what you need." And you don't, you see smart quarterbacks, you don't see fierce quarterbacks. And I think that's the last thing that I've seen that in is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, is the last quarterback that we see in that era that I believe can make fierce decisions, knowing that it can jeopardize his health or it can jeopardize his, injuries and well, health and injuries the same thing. But I don't know. I just feel like we need more quarterbacks like Troy Aikman and Deshaun. Yeah, I'm Ukrainian, so I can really pronounce things, but I think he's a person that um I think there's a lot more to see from him, and he's 24. I'm 25, and to think that on this scale to play football, I mean, it I don't know. It's amazing. It's amazing to see him play. It's amazing to see him think even like because post conferences, I like to see what he says and all that, and he's pretty dope. He's pretty dope because you get to see the guy who wants to succeed, who desperately is trying to understand, keep on playing. Somebody who wants to make sure that it's not just about him; it's about the team that can get the Super Bowl ring. You know, um, yeah. Yeah, Texas versus Bills, great first half, even a greater second half. So we got to see a little bit from Bills, we got to see a little bit from Texans, but here we are. You know, Texas, good luck, good job, man. So I'm curious to see how Texans are gonna play against the Chiefs. So yeah, so I watched the Seahawks and the Eagles. That's another game that I watched. What can I say? Man, Eagles. Two things. Two things. I'm gonna say one thing about Seahawks. Great coaching. Uh, Great coaching. No, I take it back. I take it back. I think it's not with the Seahawks. It's not just about the coaching. It's about people responding to the coaching. I hope it makes sense, right? Follow. Let's follow through. Um, Seahawks has a lot of talent, but they have even better coaching that allows the talent to grow. Um, what's his name? Tyler Lockett. I can't remember his first name, but Lockett, right? Him being he was on my fantasy, which I really appreciated because I don't he got me a lot of points, but at the end of the season he was going like either playing good or playing really bad. Like you couldn't predict him, and I'm not really sure if it's like a load management thing that's it's booming right now, but I think Tyler Lockett is so quick on his feet. The way you see, the highlights that you get to, see at the end of the season, you get to, see each game that he played, the way he caught touchdowns and everything. Um, I think Tyler Lockett is somebody that I wish to see in Odell Beckham Jr. But Tyler Lockett is a team player. Too soon? Too soon? I feel like majority of people are agreeing. I really want anyway. That's a whole different conversation. But Tyler Lockett did great. Marshall Lynch. Oh my goodness! I was so happy to see him be back on the team. And my prediction was Seahawks versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl, repeating the same thing. I really wanted to see that, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So Patriots, good luck next time. But Seahawks, let's see what's good. With Eagles, man, just too many injuries during the season. The coaching, what's his name? Gary Harrison. Hold on, let me look it up. Coaching would I forgot, but anyway, Doug Peterson. There you go, Doug Peterson. He's the head coach, right? And he's the guy that I think he pushes the team because he believes in investing in the team. It's not about being a great coach. It's about being a great coach slash leader. Oh man, it all makes sense in my head, right? Doug Peterson, he led everybody to the Super Bowl. A lot of people were like, well, they played, but no, no. Listen, Doug Peterson is somebody. It was sometimes it's not just like you have great players, right? Nick Foles, right? He led, you can say that he led them to the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl, right? But it's not just about the offensive calling. It was about the defensive calling as well. So Doug Peterson knew exactly what to do and how to behave, and I think that's what we saw in yesterday's game, right? Seahawks versus the Eagles. Seahawks just had um better understanding of what they had to do. I think they were there, they were present, and they had more talent to use. Because again, Eagles, if they didn't have if they didn't surpass so many injuries, I think that we would have watched a better ball game. But it is what it is. So Seahawks, congrats. I did have my money on Seahawks. And Patriots versus the Titans. I just want to say, what a freaking win! Congrats, Tennessee. Good for you guys. I'm happy for you. I'm excited to see that 90% of America is happy that the Patriots are eliminated. I wouldn't say I've been a Patriots fan for a long time. I love watching the Patriots play because sometimes it is so boring. It is so boring because they're so careful, they're so determined, and sometimes Brady just throws for 10 yards, 11, 12, 13 yards, no more than that, right? He focuses on that and running the ball more than throwing Hail Mary, right? Sometimes when he does, people can predict it, and boom, it doesn't happen, right? The percentage of him getting Hail Mary's passes is very slim compared to the 12, 13, 15 yards, But I just think that Titans were prepared. Also, another thing I just want to say, how many of you have watched this Netflix movie, I guess, or documentary? It talked about what is it called? It's called the Game Changer, right? Game Changer because it talked about like vegan dieting and how like meat is not. It's not all about meat. It's all about also eating vegetables. Which I was like, I agree, but meat is good. Like, don't tell me that all vegetables is everything that's good, right? There's a reason why meat is good for your body as well. But I forget, it's talking to American audience because first of all, like I didn't realize how much like how many Americans hate vegetables. And I grew up in a family that we always had vegetables and we always understood that vegetables is a necessary thing in your not just diet but in your meal. So I was okay with eating vegetables, but man, they interviewed the whole Titans, I think it's defense or offense. I can't remember. I think it was the defense. And they said that all of the Titans defense or whatever, they went vegan. But it was last year. It was last season, right? So I was like, interesting. I'm gonna see how they did. And all of a sudden, all I'm seeing is like Titans being super good. So I'm like, oh come on, is this the diet or actually? But I think it's again, it's all about the coaching. It's knowing which calls to play, and it's not just one person. We're talking about people on the sideline, people being in the booth, or uh, you know viewing different calls, what should you do and all of that. And I realized, I think I was watching Mic'd Up on YouTube of the last Super Bowl. It was between the Patriots and the Rams. And Bill Belichick said something that really struck me. I never really realized that is that each game you can give yourself what is it? each game you know exactly how many calls you need to make. So let's say in all four quarters you will have 150 calls, right? Um, Meaning like each down is a call, right? So let's say you're the third quarter, 4 minutes left, and you're down by 7. You already know which calls you need to make because okay, there's 67 calls left to make, also or something like that, right? So I think that's what the Titans did with their last 2 minutes. No, 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 hold on. The last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, because I'm trying to understand. I was like, okay, when did the Patriots give up? Because I do believe the Patriots did not give up. It's more of like, where did they fail from counting the calls that they need to make? Because let's say if you have 20 calls left, right? We're talking about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, right? Let's say you have 15 calls to make, 10 calls to make, and then you don't go through that because I feel like you at least you plan it through, at least you that's something that you think about as like okay, I'm 7 down. That's either 3 field goals or a touchdown and a field goal just to get ahead, and or who knows, or 2 touchdowns, whatever it is. You start thinking about okay, what exactly what we need to do as a team, as an offense, as defense. And I think that's what the Titans did. And congrats. Honestly, as much I hate saying that, but man, there's so many things that the Patriots, just because I started watching them right after Jimmy Garoppolo left for the San Francisco, to the 49ers. And hear me out. I'm almost out of time, but hear me out. I because it was they were playing the Eagles right before Michael Butler was on the sideline. Jimmy Garoppolo left for the 49ers. He got a really good contract. And then all of a sudden, we get to, we get to, we get to witness one of the most ridiculous, um, Super Bowls ever. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to question. There was this video that I watched. It talked about how Bill Belichick jeopardized the Super Bowl because he wasn't happy with the things the organization did. And I honestly, I don't believe in like, I get it. Like, I'm not there, so I can't really choose sides. But I think that Patriots organizations, sometimes they make those decisions against Bill Belichick because sometimes Bill Belichick sees the bigger picture, right? He understands. He's one of the reasons why the Patriots are so good because he knows he can handpick the talent, right? It can be a janitor from LSU, and all of a sudden he's the next Tom Brady. Like Bill Belichick can see that in people. And when it came down to extending Tom Brady's contract and choosing what to do with Jimmy Garoppolo because they don't have enough money, I think that I think they chose Tom Brady because everybody liked him and he became this image in the Patriots legacy, right? Which understandable. Like, good for them. Because of that decision, they made another Super Bowl and they won the Super Bowl, right? Uh, but here's the thing, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that was the future. I would miss a couple of Super Bowls to secure the next 10 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? I think that it's just the fact that they chose Tom Brady, knowing that he has 7 years in his career left or something like that. He was saying like 7, 8 years, compared to somebody who can be the next Tom Brady, who can be the next person who is going to win more Super Bowls, right? I don't know. It's probably like I'm ranting on the tangent, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is something that's definitely, it's definitely something to look forward to in the future. But anyway, that's something that I'd like to research more because I'm curious how the next season's gonna be. I'm already looking forward to. Super Bowl is coming. Is less than a month away, and yeah, my fiance hates when it's football season because she's like, it doesn't interest me, and I don't have. She doesn't have me for the 17 weeks of the year, and she's like, ugh, whatever, ugh, ugh, ugh. But listen, it's something that interests me, so let's see it through. Let's see it through together, right? So good luck, man. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo should have stayed. I think that whatever happens to Tom Brady, they need to have the future. And here's the thing: they had so many backup quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He's one of the best. Yeah, he got a bye week in the playoffs, right? You know, he secured that spot. Then we had a quarterback for the Colts. Oh man, I can Brissett, Brissett. Oh man, I'm so bad with names. I can remember, but all three of them, they had such a great beginning of the season, right? The first 9 weeks, 10 weeks, and then it just went down the hill for some of them, for the Patriots and for the Colts. But here we are, Jimmy Garoppolo being there. I'm curious to see how 49ers are going to be playing. So here we are, Packers versus the Seahawks. Vikings versus the 49ers, Titans versus the Ravens, and Texans versus the Chiefs. I'm going to give my predictions on Friday, so you can watch that. But I don't know. I just feel like it's such an interesting playoff that's going to be, because all teams are really good. Like the comparison, the matchup, the coaching, it's all something that I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All I'm saying is that I was wrong about the Saints and the Vikings. I was right about I was wrong about the Patriots versus the Titans, right? But let's see. I'm curious. I know when to admit my own mistakes, and I know that I made a mistake between the Vikings versus the Saints. Patriots, stupid calling. I guarantee you that. We should have seen it all the way back to um back like last week with the Dolphins. I think we should have predicted that, and we should have fixed that. But it's whatever. Well, for now, thank you so much for watching, listening, subscribing, whatever you're doing. Giving me the 30 minutes of your time just to listen to it. Either you're going to work or from work. I'm curious to listen to your own voice. Let's talk about it. Let's see. What do you think about those things? What do you think about these callings and the things that we discussed earlier? Just comment down below and tell me about your opinions. What do you think is gonna happen? That's been it. It's been an honor, truly. I hope we're both getting. I hope I'm getting better at this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces.